in the room, energy level, kind of know the drill. Thank you. Good, helps. So Kate, you need a chair. Get a chair if you can, as we are going to get started with a chair. Thank you. Yesterday was actually World Heart Day. So World Heart Day. World Heart Day. So we have actually 3 brains. We have the usual brain, the heart brain, and the gut brain. And they're all connected with each other. And the most communication actually happens from the heart to the brain and not from the brain to the heart. So it's important to look after our heart. We incorporated the chair a little bit today because with heart conditions, heart diseases, there's always the element of stress. So when there's too much stress in the body, sometimes we don't feel it. And there's that high level chronic or that constant level of stress, which over time puts more strain on our hearts. So the best way always is to use the breath. So, and I intentionally brought chairs in here today to work a little bit more on the breath, because when we sit on the floor, you probably know what it feels. There's at some point that element where you just, it's because we're not used to sitting on the floor for long periods of time. So we use the breath as a way to bring changes into the nervous system, and the nervous system in turn then calms the mind and calms all the other systems in the body. So the cardiovascular system, the respiratory system, the nervous system, the digestive system. Holistically, literally, the breath is a good way to work with anyway. So start on your, or come onto your chairs, please, and come into any comfortable position on your chair. I just want to kind of see how you sit. Let's call me the PP, the posture police. Because, and just for you to experience, come into a very slouched position. So slouched literally means you almost collapsed. And then try to take deep breaths as you sit in a slouched, compressed position. So for some of us, when we read a book, when we're in a coffee shop, when we even just read a book, even on the sofa, because sofas are so nice and fluffy and soft, we are eventually coming into comfortable seat position, but it actually squashes all the organs. So now shuffle a little bit further forward. So first of all, feet a little bit further forward. So you probably have a little bit of space behind you. So we are after the sitting bones. I can see already in difference how tall you generally feel, how tall you generally appear. So even here, the feet, bring them a little bit further forward and perhaps allow the upper body to tilt also slightly forward. And then just notice how you feel on a physical level, but also notice how you feel on a more deeper level when it comes to breathing. So as you know, I'm always after those long, slow, short, deep breaths. So what we're aiming at is when we start on the back, to bring the hands on our bellies and let the breath come into our bellies. So what that means is we're blowing up a balloon in our tummies, in our bellies. So I invite you to bring one hand onto your heart and one hand onto your belly. So perhaps the left hand onto your heart, perhaps the right hand onto your belly. And kind of just feel, just sense into your body. So just observing the breath. So if you feel your pelvis is rounding, perhaps then shift the pelvis a little further forward. So your pelvis is that bowl on your hips. And when the pelvis tilts back, the spine naturally follows. Hence, we're collapsing in. So tilting the pelvis forward, the spine naturally follows. There's less core strength required to keep us upright here. So just notice how you feel this morning. You can either have a soft gaze or eyes closed. And just observe your natural breath. So without shaping it a certain way, without directing it into a certain area, just sense how it also feels sitting more upright. So, and feel the feet on your ground. Feel your feet on the ground. So they're grounding into the earth, the soles of your feet connecting to something that's holding you. And then do a quick body scan, starting at the soles of your feet, your ankles, your shins, your calves. So then literally just check in on yourself, following that journey up your knees, your thighs. So if you notice that you're slouching again, tilt the pelvis slightly forward and continue that journey up into your rib cage, your chest, your shoulders, upper back, arms, hands, fingers. So notice if your chin actually dips down. So lift the chin. So because the cervical spine is still connected to the base of your skull. So it helps that flow of oxygen up into the brain. Notice if you're holding any tension in your jaw, in your temples, in your eyes, crown of your head. So then begin to deepen your breath. So breathing in through your nose and let the breath move into the palms of your hands. So it's literally just like blowing up a balloon, creating a little bit more of an expansion in the belly and the chest. And as you exhale, feel how your torso almost contracts back, maybe even the abdominals. You can even have a slight squeeze of your navel back towards the spine as you exhale. Inhale, bring the breath back into the palms of your hands. Exhaling, softening. So sit further forward towards the front of your chair. That gives you that stability. So almost your feet, they are really grounding into the earth. So almost have an effortless way to sit more upright. Because the moment we deprive our body of oxygen, the heart actually has to work a little harder because it activates the stress response in the body. More cortisol is released. So by coming out of that slouched, rounded posture, our organs are more optimally looked after. So then send the breath more into the palm resting on your belly. And notice if you can do this without lifting the chest, without rising the chest. So the diaphragm moves down and pushing kind of the belly out a little bit. And as you exhale, hugging the belly in, pushing the air back up through your lungs, out through your nose, out through your mouth. So send them once more into the palm, resting on your belly. Inhaling, slow, full breaths, exhaling, really complete that cycle. So the more we focus on getting the exhale right, the more nourishing breaths we have as we inhale. So from here, adding on to a little bit. So breathe into the palm resting on your belly first. And then use the rest of the breath to fill the top, the hand that's resting on your chest. And as you exhale, let the breath soften in the chest first and the belly. So if visualization works for you, visualize you filling up a glass of water so that the bottom fills up first, then the top. As you empty the glass, the top releases first, then the bottom. So a couple of deep, slow, full breaths. So posture really is key to everything we do in life, and it helps to let the body function more optimally. So, and for that, we actually need to work also on our core a little bit to give the spine that strength to stay upright. So take perhaps 3 more cycles here as you let the breath flow into the palms of your hands. And as you exhale, feel the body almost deflating. So the nervous system feeling a little calmer, the heart rate slows down, blood pressure also lowers. So release the shoulders away from your ears, softening the physical body. Good. 1 more breath here. Good. And then if you're ready, release your hands, maybe open your eyes, bring just movement back into the body. So taking the feet a little wider, we're actually using the chair to add on to a little bit of movement. Probably should have said, bring the first 2 feet of your chair towards onto your mat so you're not slippering. So basically, if the chair is here, bring 2 feet on top of the top of your mat. Good. So and keep that body nice and keep the spine nice and lengthened. So probably there's a bit of squeaking happening. So it's the chair. So again, avoid taking the bottom all the way back. So perhaps keep your hips, keep those tailbones slightly further forward. So allowing the body just to circle, really perhaps leaning forward. Change directions as well. So yoga is about incorporating also things into your life rather than just walking around with a yoga mat. Good. So even when you're sitting in the office, you need a little bit of a stretch. Getting up is always good, but sometimes that's not possible. So coming back to the center. So bring your hands onto your pelvis. Do a couple of those rocks so you notice how it changes the position, how you sit, the shoulders, how the spine follows suit. So really it's that's why it's always, the pelvis is literally that key organs, it's not an organ, but that key feature, that key structure in the body that is so important to look after. So, and then let those movements become a little smaller, so less visible. So in a way you're still feeling it, but that it originates more from the lower abdominals. And then literally find that neutral place where you almost sit effortless again. And you can breathe freely. Keep that posture here. Hold on to one side of your chair, lengthen through one arm. Lean over to one side. So your sitting bones are really plugged into the earth. So really just bring that length into the side body. So start more dynamically. So it may feel, so it's literally exactly what we're doing. You guys continue what we're doing on the floor. But as you see, when I'm rounding back, so I'm kind of tilting back again. So you might not get the best stretch out of that posture. And then stay for a little bit longer in that posture here. So allowing the neck, the head to soften. Breathe into the side body. So literally just bring both sitting bones really into the chair. So notice maybe if you're still tilting slightly, plug them into the chair and then change sides, lengthening. Stay here and breathe. So kind of maybe have a goal to nourish the whole body with your breath. So the breath is the tool that's always with you. Big arm circle coming back, moving into shoulder circles. Good, and we can incorporate way more things in that seated position here on the chair rather than on the floor. Begin to make big arm circles. So bring your arms up and squeeze those shoulder blades together. Notice if you're rolling back. So keep the spine nice and erect. So drawing the shoulder blades, almost squeeze them together. So inhale, you reach up. Exhale, slowly draw the shoulders down. Good. So we are just releasing tightness. Good. One more breath here, lengthening, reaching up. Good. And then bring your arms behind you. Either hold on to the base of your chair, to the back of your chair. So perhaps shuffle even slightly further forward so your arms are quite straight. And then draw the chest forward, the shoulders back. There may be a chance you create more of an arch in your spine. Even the pelvis tilting forward. Good. Squeeze those shoulder blades together. And then bring your chin towards the chest. So we're creating more of a stretch through the back body. And then release your arms, bring them out to the sides, forward, rounding the spine, chin towards the chest, fingertips together. Open here, arms out to the sides, lifting the chest, bring your arms behind you, hold on to whatever you can reach. You may want to do different levels. So whatever feels good in the shoulders, squeeze and breathe. So we're creating more of a stretch in the front body. Good, and release your arms again, tilt the pelvis forward, literally like cat and cow seated. So you're squeezing, that creates more of a stretch in the upper back that's intended. Inhale, open again. Arms behind you. Grab anything that feels okay. Roll the shoulders back as you lift the chest. And begin to tilt your head from one ear towards the shoulder. So just take it very slowly as we are literally incorporating a couple of postures and using that stretch through the arms by deepening also the sensation through the upper back, neck. And breathe through it. So don't hold your breath. And because you're holding onto the back of your chair, there's that almost, you can always intensify or loosen it a little bit. Good. Coming back to center, release your arms, give them a little bit of a shake. Good. So gentle twist. Again, with twists, we always want an upright spine. Notice if you're kind of leaning back, which feels comfortable, but in order for the core to even work here, so perhaps even use one hand on the opposite side, on your opposite thigh. Good. So just starting with a bit more of a twist to release the upper body. And it may feel slightly different because you literally keep your pelvis stuck in that position. Lovely. And then coming back to center. If you could turn your chairs around, please. So, and sit with your left arm facing the back of your chair, please. So it probably feels a little bit, I don't know if there's enough space for the bottom to sit. So where the left arm faces the back of your chair. Yeah, so you're good. Good. So into a twist. So, and keep your hands actually resting on your thighs. So that allows you not to cheat. No, turn to face Elaine and John. That's it. So hopefully we're all facing left side. If you have your right arm here, then do the opposite side. So bring your awareness back towards your spine so you really lengthen. Take a breath in. On the exhale, begin to twist the torso towards the base, towards the back of your chair. Find that maximum position of the twist. Bring your arms then onto the back of your chair and hold here that posture. You may want to turn the head towards the left, so literally away from your legs. So stay here and breathe into the center of your spine, into your rib cage. So we literally initiate a twist from the lower ribs, from the rib cage up towards the spine. So if every inhale, we bring more oxygen in. With every exhale, maybe you just use almost your arms here a little bit to twist is a millimeter more. Good, keep the spine nice and upright. As you breathe into that sensation in the back. Good, one more breath here. And then slowly return. So releasing one by one. So have a little bit of a wiggle. So we are literally doing the same thing, what we are doing here, but there's more awareness because you use really, rather than just bring the arms around and then twisting, we're using our core. Turn sides, please. So we're doing the second side of the twist. So again, find that seat. Good. So in twists, they also help clear out some tightness. The chairs are a little bit strange, but you hopefully get the idea. So notice again, if you sit upright, so take a breath in. On the exhale, begin to twist. So hands on your thighs. And then inhale through the nose, exhale, begin to turn your torso towards the back of your chair. And then last thing, bring your arms in, holding onto the back of your chair, whether it's the sides or the top. And continue breathing here. Keep those same deep, slow, full breaths. So and almost feel how the breath from the inside out actually creates a little bit more room. Good. With every exhale, you may just almost draw the twist a little bit deeper. Good. 2 more breaths. Maybe you want to turn the head as well away from your legs. So even just that turning of your head adds a little bit more of a stretch to the neck, to the upper back. Good, 1 more breath. And then very slowly return back to center. Again, have a little bit of a wiggle. Good. And come up to, no, not come up to center. So turn your chair around here. Good. So you're sitting once more towards the front of the chair. So it's literally just your sitting bones that need plugging in. So shuffle a little bit further forward. Lovely, good. So, and then bring your feet perhaps a little bit further back. So we're and tilting the upper body forward. So we're lifting the bottom, but we're not coming up straight to standing. So just use your feet, press into your feet. The bottom lifts as you hover here. Have a little bit maybe of a pulse. So we're really using the legs. The back is nice and strong. So now we're getting the heart rate up as well. We're creating heat in the body. Good. So yeah, want to probably get out of here. So the bottom really reaches back as if you want to sit back. Good. With your next exhale, push up to standing. Good. And shake out your legs. You can remove the chair away from your mat. So, upper body nice and warm. So, because we are sitting so much, I want to make sure you really understand the mechanics of sitting, how it actually impacts breathing and everything else in the body. Sun salutations to get the body warmed up, to get the heart rate up, and just to create a stretch across the whole body. So starting from the back of your mats, please, taking the feet a hip distance apart. So that always gives you the best stability. Arms out to the sides as you reach up. So we're doing a little bit of warm up. Bring the backs of your palms together, fold forward. Halfway lift. Exhale, folding forward. Then come into a little bit at the similar chair position where the bottom reaches back. Bring your arms out to the sides as you reach up. Palms together on the exhale. So that position here really gives you, so instead of rolling up where the spine is rounded, you use the legs to come up. Good, couple of rounds here. Keeping the palms together. Inhale, reach up, exhale, Bring your arms out, fold forward. Head, neck relaxed. Halfway lift. Good. Exhale, folding forward. Sit in your invisible chair as you bring your arms out to the sides. Lengthen, reach up. Exhale. Bring them towards your heart center. So a couple of more rounds here. Lengthen. Backs of your palms reach. Fold forward. A bit like a swan dive. Halfway lift as you inhale. Exhale, folding forward. Bend your knees, sit in your chair, look up towards the front of your mat, arms out to the sides, and then reach up. Palms together. Good, twice more, inhale. Backs of your palms meet, fold forward. So we're stretching also the backs of the thighs. Empty those lungs fully. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, folding forward. Really empty those lungs. Sit back in your invisible chairs. Your arms come out to the sides. Inhaling. Palms together on the exhale. Good. Half sun salutation. Last one here. Lengthen. Backs of your palms meet. Fold forward. Halfway lift. Exhale, folding forward. Sit in that invisible chair, arms out to the sides as you initiate coming back up. Hands back towards your heart center. Keep your thumbs at your heart center, at your breastbone. So drawing the shoulders back, also lengthening, lifting up. Breathe into your belly once more. So let the belly pop out slightly. Notice how you feel. So we're adding on to here. Good. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, backs of your palms meet, folding forward. Halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Instead of coming up, bring your hands down, downward dog. So have a little bit of a stretch through your heels, through your calves, your variation or your version of downward dog. So kind of just see how the body feels on this Friday morning. So we have two options now as we are either moving into plank, or you can bring your knees down, tabletop, and then slowly lower onto the floor, onto your belly. So hands rest underneath your shoulders. So try not to apply too much pressure into your hands, because that actually raises blood pressure. So use more the back, so the lower back, to help you into that cobra position. Good. On the inhale, begin to lift up, chest lifts, head lifts. Exhale, lower down. So let that lower back work a little harder, less pressure in the hands, twice more. Inhale, lift. Good. And exhale, slowly lower. Good. Last one here as you lift. And exhale, lower. So take a moment maybe just to come back to your breath. Notice how the body feels. So press into your palm. We are pushing up into tabletop. Curl your toes under, downward dog. So stay in downward dog if it feels okay for 3 to 5 breaths. So, and use that, the same mechanics, draw the breath into the belly. So that strengthens the diaphragm. The diaphragm is a muscle as you move against gravity. Good, long, full, deep breaths. Good, and then begin to walk. Once you finish those 3 or 5 breaths, your hands back towards your feet. Stay in that forward fold for a few breaths. So find a comfortable place to stand, almost to hang out here. So keeping no tension in the back of your head. Perhaps have your knees a little bit more bent to take any pressure away from the lower back. So the head is lower than the heart. The heart brain almost is in charge. So allow the blood flow to alternate slightly, bringing calming qualities into the mind. From here, begin to sit back into your invisible chair as you bring your arms out to the sides. Inhale, rising up. Exhale, slowly draw the hands towards the heart center. Take a moment to land. If you feel slightly dizzy, bring your chin towards the chest. So it just brings more clarity into the mind. Good. One more round here. On the inhale, reach up. Exhale, arms out to the side as you fold forward. Halfway lift. Exhale, folding forward. Walk your hands into downward dog. So find a still version of downward dog, please. So pressing into your hands, into your feet. Look with your eyes towards your shins, towards your calves. So find that stillness in that posture. And from here, either bring your knees down, tabletop, and then onto the belly, or move into plank. And maybe even in plank, maybe stay for a breath or two. So feeling that heat going through the body. And whenever you're ready, you can lower in one piece, or you can bring your knees down and then lower back onto the front. So once more, bring your hands underneath your shoulders. If it feels okay, bring your forehead onto the floor. So you're stretching out your the back of your spine. The back of your spine. On the inhale, we are not actually lifting into cobra. Lift your left foot up towards the ceiling. Just kind of just straightening the leg. Exhale, lower. Alternating the foot, opposite foot lifts. And lower. So alternate the feet by keeping the hands across your, just hugging your rib cage. So the elbows draw back towards the base, towards the back of the mat. If you want, you can try lifting both feet and lower. So lift and lower. So it's different sensations on the back, but you can always take one leg or the other. But keep the upper body relatively centered on the floor. So just the lower body works. So the forehead or the chin is tucked in, the forehead resting on the floor. Lovely. One more lift here, whether it's with one leg each or with both feet. And then bring your arms forward. Make a cushion with your forearms to rest your forehead. Have a wiggle through your lower back. And come back into your deep belly breath. So that compression is intended. So let the breath flow into the navel area, into the lower abdominal area. Good. So also notice how the body feels. So the more we optimize our breath, because most of the population actually breathes inefficiently, the better we are able to look after our bodies and our minds. As high stress levels, they increase cortisol in the body, also cholesterol, so can wreak or can cause quite a bit of havoc in the body. The good thing with yoga is it reduces inflammation, it brings the body back into a state of balance. One more breath here. And from here, bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Push back up into tabletop and step your right foot forward. So take the right foot out towards the outside edge of your mat, please. And allow the left hip to slightly dip towards the earth. So we are coming into that hip flexor stretch. And from here, you may even want to shift the bottom back as we are traveling into that hamstring stretch. So allow the body to almost seesaw between one posture and the other. So we're stretching the hamstring. You can use the position of your foot in various ways. So I've got a couple of blankets with me if you don't have your own, or you can double up your yoga mat, just fold it over. And once more, use the breath to release any tension. Your hands can be both inside of your right leg. So sometimes if your hand is framing your leg, or both hands are framing that leg, it feels a little bit more restricted. So allowing your hands to be more on the inside. And begin to lengthen the exhale to let go of that accumulated tension in the body. There's one thing with sitting is when we're sitting on a chair, that hip flexor becomes too short. So we're lengthening those hip flexors now. Good. One more breath here. And then find a comfortable way to align both feet so you have stability. Bring your weight into your left arm and then rise your right arm up. So we're moving into a twist. So where the belly button faces the right inner thigh. You may want to move into arm circles. So the right arm circles as your body, your torso faces the inner thigh. So for high blood pressure, for example, if it's not medicated, keeping the arm held for longer time, for longer period of time, it increases the strain on the heart. So having more dynamic movements, also mobilize the shoulder. One more breath here. For those who want to add more, a little bit more of a stretch, you can curl the back toes under, lift the back knee off the floor. Again, only for those who want to do it. You can come into more static hold if you wish. So don't forget to breathe. You're in a twist, but we're also stretching through the hip flexor as well as one leg. Good. One more breath here. And if you have had your leg raised, bring your leg down, please. Step your foot back, tabletop. Couple of tabletop circles. So allowing just to release maybe the lower back, bring just a little bit of dynamic movement into the body. So perhaps allowing yourself to move into certain areas that feel a bit creaky. Good. So just use your own wisdom, your innate wisdom to maybe get into areas that need a little bit more of a release. So option here, you can either rest for a couple of moments in child's pose. So if you want, because you have more energy, curl your toes under, go up into downward dog and maybe have a little bit more of a play here. So you can lift one leg up, open one leg, take the knee out to the side. So just accommodate how you feel this morning and do things that feel good in your body. So even if you're in child's pose, you can come back up into tabletop, maybe have a little bit more of a tabletop circle, maybe go up into downward dog, back to tabletop, back to child's pose. So it's where I'm your guide, but in a way you decide what feels right in the body today. And perhaps 2 more breaths wherever you are. And we all meet back in tabletop position to initiate the second side. So step your left foot forward. So allowing kind of just that release of the right hip. And then shifting the bottom back into that runner stretch. So start more dynamically, but always use the breath. And maybe once you feel ready, move into slightly longer holds. So with lower lunge, so keep your knee above your ankle. That gives you the best stretch for that right hip flexor, and you only need to seesaw the upper body back as the position of your feet is in the right place to get the best out of both stretches. So even when we hold our breath, so maybe that's something to take away what you're doing during the day. When we hold our breath, it also puts additional strain on our heart. So continuously breathe in and breathe out, ideally through the nose. So from here, find your setup to move into that lower lunge twist. So your feet might be slightly closer together. Shift your weight into your right arm as you open the navel towards your left inner thigh. Reach your arm up. So keep your head in a position that feels okay. Breathe. So you may want to start to circle your arm, but you can also keep your arm quite static. So avoid maybe going really fast. So the slower you go, the more you may feel maybe certain clicks, certain cracks. So you can even take your arm a little bit further back so that you really open through the chest, through the shoulders. So an optional here again, you can add on to here, you can keep that arm quite upright and then curl the back toes under, lift up into that more high lunge hold. So in order to avoid having full weight in your right wrist, switch your abdominals on, switch your core on to almost distribute the load between your right wrist and your core. Good. Don't forget to breathe if you're in the more static hold. Good. 2 more breaths. And then slowly come back out of the position. So we're stepping the foot back into tabletop. Maybe have a little bit of a sway here. Perhaps having your knees a little bit wider. So the moment you shift back, you have enough space to actually release the lower back as the tailbone reaches towards your heels. Good. And then once more, alternating periods of movement, periods of stillness. So find a comfortable space in child's pose, whether it's with the bottom slightly higher up, maybe the bottom shifts all the way back, maybe your arms are out in front of you, underneath your head, maybe behind you. So come into a place where you're able to focus on the breath. So visualize that the breath once more is being drawn all the way down into the lower abdomen, into your navel center. And as you exhale, feel that almost that vacuum being pushed up through the lungs, out through your nose, out through the mouth. So 2 more breaths here. And then slowly rise back up into a seated position, please. So as you bring your feet forward. You could also, so I'm probably showing you what I'm doing. So you can come into the position where we keep the feet in that diamond shape. So you may even use the chair to hold you. You can use, so if you can turn around and bring the chair back onto your mat if you wish. So it's more of a static hold. You can even shuffle a little bit further forward. Maybe even bring the feet underneath your chair if there's space. Maybe resting your forehead on your chair. So just see what feels accessible. I'm always giving you options here. So the chair is a good tool to use as well. So once more, focus in on your breath. You could also visualize breathing out through pursed lips, as if you breathe out through a straw. As you draw the breath in through your nose, exhale out through pursed lips. You may know it from pregnancy, the golden thread breath, that you release tension, you release something more visible out through your mouth. And perhaps even feel the belly drawing back, the abdominals drawing back towards the spine. So almost creating a bit of a suction. So perhaps even use that last squeeze to empty the lungs fully, which naturally creates more deeper inhales. Good. Stay for another 5 breaths. And then in your own time, find your way back up into seated position. So you can bring your knees together, maybe even lean slightly back. So one thing I'd like to, what you can try, you might try it for a few moments. If it's not for you, then come back into your usual relaxation. So there's a posture called legs up the wall, which looks literally like this, legs up the wall. So the more accessible version is legs up the chair. So you can bring the chair to the back of your mat. Bring your legs onto your chair, but make sure there's nothing pinching. So if you have a blanket, you can also bring the blanket in. So see how that feels. So you can even put your socks on, literally set yourself up as if you usually rest in relaxation. I've got blankets here. What it does with your legs up the chair is it really flattens the lower spine into the earth. So it's, if you suffer from back issues, that's actually a very calming, very restorative posture to release the back. And with your legs slightly elevated, it brings the lymph flow back towards the heart. So if you're on your feet for long periods of time, or if you're on a longer plane ride, you can bring your legs up the wall, up to feet, but keep the knees slightly bent. So I'm just, Christine, well, a little bit more bent. So have your knees more bent? Yeah, but let your feet actually slip through. Yeah. Yeah. How does that feel? And have maybe bring a blanket. Bring a blanket. So just here, put a blanket underneath your head. So your hands can rest alongside the body as you usually rest, or you may want to bring them onto your belly. So eyes can be closed, or you can have a soft gaze. Just bring the chin a little closer towards the chest. I'm actually giving you a blanket. So, and bring that awareness once more into the breath, into your belly. So if it feels uncomfortable for any reason, because we'll probably be here for 5 to 7 minutes, then release the legs back from the chair. Doesn't feel comfortable. Have you had the knees more? Yeah. 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 Because the legs kind of just draw the lower belly down, and there's more of a release. So once more, bring your awareness to your breath. So with the lower back flat, that enables deeper breaths. Bring the chin a little bit, because it lengthens the neck. Yeah. Bring the chin a little bit closer towards the chest. So instead of lifting them, so yeah, so the so once more, eyes can be closed, so you can have a soft gaze. So once more, focus on the breath coming in through your nose and all the way down into your belly. So begin to bring that softness into your feet, your shins, your calves. Even bring the body slightly closer. Does it feel okay? So allow the legs to soften and your abdominals, because your abdominal muscles are now quite released. The psoas, the emotional muscle, also gets a break as you just allow the breath to flow in and out through your nose. Soften your rib cage, your lungs, your heart center. Release your arms, elbows, hands. Soften your neck. Soften your jaw. Relax your eyes, forehead, top of your head. And then focus on the breath coming in through your nose and bringing vital healing energy into your body. And as you exhale, allow the body to soften and release anything you don't need. Very slowly and gradually invite deeper, fuller breaths back into your whole body. Begin to wiggle your hands, your toes, your feet. Maybe you rock your head from side to side. So if your feet or your legs are still on the chair, bring them into your heart, bring them into your chest, bring them into your belly. So you literally just hug them. So just bring movement into the body. If you want, you can also quickly stretch your legs up towards the ceiling, have a little bit of a wiggle play with your feet, circling your feet. Good. And then bring them back into your chest. And then eventually roll over to one side. Stay there for a breath or two. And whenever you're ready, come back up into any seated position. Ah. So once more, bring your left hand onto your heart, right hand onto your belly. Just take a few breaths once more into both palms. So it doesn't matter which order, really. So just a breath. Direct them back into your torso. Good, and from here, bring your palms together into that Anjali Mudra, prayer mudra. Rest your thumb at your heart center. Bow your head towards your heart. The creativity of your heart, the intellect of your mind bows to the creativity of your heart. Namaste. Thank you for joining. A slightly different class.